Okay, this video is probably going to be kind of confusing, but you'll get the gist of it as you go through. The first, I believe it's the first one we're going to look at, I thought was a female reproductive system, but it is not. It is a digestive system, and I can tell that because of the floor cave has all that squiggly patterns on it. That's the inside of a stomach. Now, the other one that I'll be showing, you'll see these little fallopian tubes that'll be in there. These little flippy things that come off the end, and they'll all be. You'll see it in the other one. So there's a couple of different sets of caves we're going to be looking at. And something I found absolutely stunning was the deepest one in the world now. I thought it was 2,200 feet. It's 2,200 meters. That's 7,000 feet or more. Now listen to this. There's two of them in that area, in that same region. Two of them. The same basic size, and they're both 2,200 meters deep. They're within 20 meters of each other deep. They're both vaginas. That's crazy. And they're both within 20 meters deep of each other. All right, so this is, and I believe those are the ones that are in Russia. But anyway, I'm going to be showing you two different sets of things, and I may be saying, oh, this is a, whatever I'm going to say, but you see what you're going to see. When we hit the one that has the stomach lining in it, then you'll know that's the one, the digestive system. When you see the other one that has the fallopian tubes, well, that's the reproductive system. So here we go. This cave we're going to be going into in a minute, that's the flooring of some of it. That's the flooring of a stomach. Okay, my friends, we're going to be going into a gigantic female reproductive system. And you're going to be seeing all these stalactites and stalagmites and so forth. Well, these are secretions, basically, from enzymes that dissolve things to break things down, and then they're reforming in the air to come back to a substance which looks like flowing. You'll see them. You know, everybody knows stalactites, stalagmites. They look like flowing ice cream, almost like. Now, and that's what happens from some of these secretions that are in these glands that are inside the reproductive system. Now, I believe we're going to see the fallopian tubes, little flappy things here. We're going to, of course, well, let's just get into it and take a look. And I may shoot back and forth here. We may not have to. But try to remember what you're seeing here. Both of these are fallopian tubes. That one's cut off so you can see all of the different all of these little special things will secrete stuff. And then there's organelles in here and all kinds of things. Okay, this is Riverasa Entertainment, and this is the deepest cave in the world, Krubera Cave, and we're just going to get right into it now. I've got the sound off. I'm just going to be talking while it's playing. That's a vagina, my friends. That right there is the linea alba that splits it. Okay, I believe this is Russia. 2,200 feet deep. And that's the vagina they're going down into. This thing is absolutely stunningly large. Somebody built this, it appears to me. That's not natural. Now, when you get in here and you see these flows like that, that's an organ has given off some kind of chemistry that is dissolving something, and then it's reforming. Look at this. That's digestive, well, actually, that's somewhere in the fallopian tubes, I believe. Some of this stuff, I don't know what it is. But these kind of things coming down here, like this here, that is from some kind of juices that have, now, let me stop this thing right there. These, I think, are the tips at the end of the fallopian tube. Remember I showed you where the fallopian tube is? These are people down here. This thing's absolutely stunningly large. And that, I believe, is the tips of the fallopian tube, which is out here. And they're in water here. And I don't know how this thing all fits together, but here they are again. I believe that's the fallopian tubes, but I could be wrong. And again, they're secreting something. All that stuff dribbling off. All this stuff here. These are here, and they have all these cave pearls, they call them, in these little round balls. Look at this, the guy standing on that thing. Look at this. This is the structure of bodily tissue. This is just not a cave by accident this stuff happened. Look at that. And again, these things dripping down here, they're dissolved rock, and what dissolves it is enzymes. The enzymes are created from glandular activity, secretions. All of these layering, this is all tissue. Look at the size of this thing. It's absolutely stunningly large. I'd like to see him collect some samples and things from here, you know, and check some of the, look at this. That's all biological. This is not something that just happened accidentally. They just got to start to just wake up and see what they see. Okay, my friends, hold on to your hats. This is biology. These things, nobody built these things. Now, there's an entrance going in, and it's a gigantic cave system. Now, I believe they're entering through what I will explain to you very shortly, which is a body part. And we're going to go in. All I'm going to do is just go to certain places and take little clips, and you can come back and watch this whole video, but I'm going to just point to certain clips, and I'm going to explain what you're seeing. Here you're seeing blocks of some type of tissue. Now, I'm not exactly sure what it is, some tendon, or it could be muscle. There's a lot of green growing in here, so more than likely it's muscle, this part. That could be tendon. It could be right in the abrupt transition zone, and somehow it opened up there. I don't know. But they're going down in through here. But normally when you see green growing on, or moss growing on rocks, it means that rock still has a lot of biological activity still in that rock. That's what that moss is growing on, is, you know, the biology of that rock. It's not a rock. However, tendons, totally different situation. Tendons have no biology to start with, basically. They're just like rubber bands. So there's almost no blood in them. So there's why there's nothing growing here. I think this is like the abrupt transition zone. And just between where it goes from muscle all the way down here, just falling apart, up to where there's a real heavy-duty tendon. And they were able to drop through there. Look at this. This is just as they're getting in. Look at this stuff. Whatever it is, I don't know. But it's pretty interesting. Check it out. You see it? That, my friends, this is absolutely no question whatsoever. It's biology. Now, we're going to look at some other places. Now, the colors mean some kind of transition metal. This is obviously an abrupt transition. Now, what biology this represents, I don't know, but we're going to look at the anatomy that I think it is and see if we can determine what it might be. All right, they just keep going and going and going, and now they're down to this area down in here. You can see the size of the cave, and there's all these ceiling-looking things going on in there. In other words, like almost like surrounding something. You see that? That's not just flowing out of there just like any other rock. That other stuff this is something that's biology that's running out of some secretion of a gland. You see it running out of here and running over here and over here, and they're freaking out saying, wow, look at this thing. And they reach inside, there's like a bucket in there. So my take on it is it's coming up this way, and there was something else coming up this way, and it's just bubbling up over the top and coming up. Because he reaches his hand down inside. You see this? This is a huge, big cavern in there with like it's got a ceiling. Look at the size of this thing. Now don't forget, we're going to be looking at some anatomical things. This is a huge, big cavern. See, that's some more enzymes pouring out of something, dissolving minerals, and then they form back together here. That's just not run off of something. That's because of enzymes, and it runs off and it hardens back up again. As it comes down, it just builds up and builds up. Yes, that's what stalactites and stalagmites are. But that's not just from water dripping. That's from a chemical process created by an enzyme to break down something a lot so that it can reconstruct itself a lot. Water does not do that. You'll get a little bit of runoff and you get a little bit of corrosion build up over the course of time, but absolutely nothing like that. All right, check this out. Check that out. This stuff is just crazy, and this is good size, it's not small. Check this out. This is the floor of what they're walking over now. Of course, they're freaking out. Who wouldn't? It looks like it's a type of a cantaloupe or something. Look at the size of this stuff. This thing here was a huge big room over here. These guys are miniature going through this huge, they're just walking along having a nice day. Think of the size of the creature that would have had this as the system that I'm going to show you. And I'm going to tell you what it's going to be. It's a female reproductive system. And of that, I am almost 100% certain. Here's another thing, some kind of specialized tissue exuding these little crystals. But these are layers of tissue. Which part of the organs it is, I don't know. But this is a very complicated system here. But don't forget this. It abruptly goes from here into some really oddball stuff. Now he's showing these, and I think these might be little polyps that are inside, or there's something similar to that. But you see the holes in them, and there are little tubes around them, and they have all that little white crystals. Something's going on there. You can actually see the little cells almost. Looks like to me. You see them? Let me home in on that close so you can see. Look at what I'm talking about. You see it? This round part is the core, and this is the surrounding tube. And it's made out of those little blocks. I find that extremely interesting. And they're all over this particular area. Now, it's going very abruptly from one to the next. A lot of changes happen in this area. Now, it abruptly opened up into this. This is absolutely stunningly large. This is just one thing right after another. Absolutely amazing. What this is, who knows? The crystals are all over this too, and they're just going, wow, there's crystals everywhere. What this is, what these abrupt transitions are all about, I don't know. Look at this. Look at this. I'm not sure if this is vein blood and this is artery blood or something. I don't know what's going on here, but boy, I tell you, the contrast in color, and it's all sort of floppy looking. Yikes, I don't know what that is. They're going wild over the texture on these crystals that are growing here. They're growing because of some kind of a biological process. The enzymes are creating these crystals. Look at these layers. All right, check this out. Look at these layers. There's a ceiling. There's like 1, 2, 3, and a ceiling, at least 4 layers that are very distinct. What it is, I don't know. But that's how tissues form in these exact lines. You see, there it is. You see these different lines? Those are different layers of tissue. This is a big open, wide open cavity. Something was inside of there. And then the ceiling has fallen in, but I think it's the ceiling that would have been from here up. Those have fallen in, but this would have been, the ceiling would have been on this level. But everything here has fallen down. This is more a product of enzymes. This is not just something, I don't know what a biologist says about this. Or, I mean, I know what a biologist would say. It looks like dried up blood or something. And it is. It's some kind of bodily fluids that have formed into these globs. Check that out. They just keep going. It's absolutely stunningly large. And then they come on this. Again, these are secretions of enzymes that are dripping from the ceiling, building up more and more and more layers of this stalactites, or stalagmites. Stalactites. Mites. Stalags. Boy, I tell you, this one here is hard to tell. That is exactly the design of the ripples of a vagina. They have a little pinchy spot in the middle here and there as they go along, and they're all different colored stripes, and that's what they call the vaginal wrinkles or ripples or whatever. Now, that could be an intestine. I don't know. It could use a similar design. I have no idea, to be honest with you. But I thought this was a female reproductive system, but I'm not sure. Now, I thought I had seen a fallopian tube. It might have been in another video. Let me go a little further and see if I can find something else. All right, well, this is obviously something that has eroded out of here and was at some time more. It's starting to look more like this is a digestive system. I think the fallopian tubes were in another cave that I was looking at the video of that one. But you can see it. See the different colorations. You see the different separations, how they're the patterns. That's not just erosion. This is biology that is eroding. Yes. Look at that. What the heck that is, I don't know. Okay, I think he's at the top of the waterfall, which is the vagina. And I believe he's either at the skin at the top going down into it, or he's at the bottom where the cervix would have been, and it's broken away. But coming down, now it does starting to look like a vagina again. And you might have two separate things going on. There's a lot going on inside of the gut of a creature, of a woman or a man, both. You see this? He's at the top of the waterfall right here. And it's dripping down here, and that it looks like it to me. I don't know. No, I went over this several times, and the more I look at it, the more I'm convinced this is a digestive system. It is not a reproductive system. However, it is gigantic, absolutely gigantic biology. Just not female. Well, it might be female, but it's not female reproductive system. Now, you see that one right there? That is a vagina as far as I'm concerned. Right there, this was the mat, and this is the other side. That's the linea alba, but in this case it's a linea nigra, which is a wide seam. Normally before a woman has a baby, usually it's pretty tight, and then it widens out, and on their stomach it actually creates a brown stripe up their stomach, and that's it right there. They're everywhere. These caves are everywhere, and they're absolutely gigantically enormous. The earth is a corpse. The earth is a body. And I keep saying it. Jesus Christ said it. He said, he who discovers the earth will discover a corpse. And he who discovers the earth will discover the body. You're discovering both of them right here. All right, like I said, as far as I'm concerned, there's zero question that, my friends, is a vagina. And that is the seam, which normally you'd call a linea alba. And this goes down. Now, I don't know if this particular shaft itself, which is the vagina, goes down all this distance, which is 7,000 feet. Now, here's the deal. It says Russian spelunkists have carried out a successful expedition to reach the bottom of the world's deepest known cave in the Gagra district of Georgia's Republic of Azerbaijan, reports said Sunday. According to reports, the expedition to reach the bottom of Veryunka cave was completed in a week, More recently, Russian explorers discovered that the depth of the cave was recorded at 2,212 meters. That's 7,257 feet, rather than the previous known 2,190 meters. So they found another 20 meters. And it's making it the new deepest known cave in the world. Before the discovery, 2,197 meter deep Krubera Cave, also in Abzia, was recognized as the deepest cave on Earth. That Krubera is another vagina. I'll show you that one in a second. And they've been looking at it and trying to figure out, how these things formed and all that business. Well, I can tell you how they formed. They're just gigantic creatures. Now, two of them right in the same district. That is very, very interesting. So don't forget, we're going to be looking at Krubera Cave. All right, search. All right, sometimes they mix up the names. They call, this one is the Krubera. The other one was the Vornich or something, but they're calling all these Kruberas. Well, I don't think they're all the Krubera caves, but this one, I believe, is. And that one has the mat and the seam and the whole thing. This one, I believe, is a different one. But they're both in the same, right in the same neighborhood as what I just showed you a second ago. So don't forget, these are two different gigantic vaginas, two different gigantic women. This is Variokina Cave, completed in a week, the search of it. More importantly, the explorers discovered the depth of this cave was recorded at 2,212 meters, rather than the previous, 2,190, making it the new deepest known cave. So they're two separate caves. Before, the other cave was Krubera Cave. It was the deepest. Now it's this Variankina. The Krubera Cave was the deepest, but they're also in Abkhazia. It was recognized as the deepest cave on Earth. The two of them right next to each other. I find that pretty interesting. The two of them right near each other. Now, obviously, well, there's nothing obvious, but that's a vagina. And this one doesn't have the seam sealed. And I don't know which one this is, but one of them has the seam sealed, and one of them is this one that doesn't have it sealed. But they're both basically very, very, almost exactly the same. Well, look how close they are. One of them was 2,212 meters now, and the other one is 2,197 meters. We're only talking 20 meters out of 2,200. That's like 0.1%. That's almost nothing. They're the same. They were from the same family, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. But both of them were gigantic creatures. Now, there was giants in the earth in those days. Were they part of the earth? I don't know anymore. I'm just astounded every day as to what I'm finding. But I can guarantee you that, my friends, is a vagina, and that, my friends, is the linea alba. Only it's widened out quite a bit. All right, this is just unbelievable, because there's only about a 20-meter difference in the size of this shaft and the other shaft. They're near each other. Oh, they're both vaginas, and this, I'm going to tell you right now, there's absolutely no question. This is the mat right here that covers that linea alba, but only this is a linea nigra, which is wide. If it was real tight, it would be the alba. Now, but it is definitely a vagina, and it is definitely a large. And if the other one is at 2,200 meters as well, and only 20 meters off, that's just astoundingly coincidental. And it's definitely another vagina. There's no question about that. So, take it for what you can take out of it. All right, the Earth was alive. Apparently, I mean, this was I don't know. I don't know what to say. It had to be a living creature. It's not just there for nothing. And it had to be able to be impregnated, I would imagine, if it was a living creature. And was there penises that big? I don't know. Certainly not around here.